Have you ever walked past an old, abandoned building and felt a shiver run down your spine? Imagine a place where silence hangs heavy, filled with the ghosts of forgotten stories. Today, we're stepping inside the gates of an abandoned asylum, a place with a dark and mysterious past, where the echoes of history still whisper through its decaying halls. Welcome, fellow explorers, to a journey into the unknown. We're not just looking at ruins. We're peeling back the layers of time to uncover the chilling secrets of a place, once teeming with life, and later, with sorrow. What really happened behind these locked doors? Why was it abandoned? And what mysteries linger in its empty corridors? Stay with me as we seek answers. Our story begins over a century ago. This asylum wasn't built to be a house of horrors. It was founded with noble intentions, a sanctuary for those struggling with their mental health. Promising care and recovery, early photographs show sprawling, well-kept grounds and a grand, imposing structure that was meant to be a beacon of hope. Doctors and nurses arrived, filled with a sense of purpose, believing they were at the forefront of a new, compassionate era of treatment. But as the years passed, the promise of this beacon began to fade, and shadows started to creep into its history. The first dark turn came with overcrowding. As society's understanding of mental health remained limited, more and more people were sent here, often for reasons we would find shocking today: grief, social nonconformity, or simply being inconvenient to their families. The institution, designed for a few hundred, soon housed thousands. Resources became stretched thin, the staff was overwhelmed, and the promise of compassionate care began to crack under the immense pressure. The grand halls that once symbolized hope became cramped and chaotic. This is where the first whispers of neglect and mistreatment began to surface in the historical records. Then came the era of experimental treatments. In the mid-20th century, medicine was advancing, but not always ethically. This asylum, like many others, became a testing ground for controversial procedures. Patients, with little to no say in their own care, were subjected to aggressive therapies that often did more harm than good. We've uncovered documents and first-hand accounts that speak of these terrifying experiences. These weren't acts of malice, necessarily, but born from a desperate and misguided attempt to cure conditions that were not fully understood. The asylum's reputation shifted from a place of healing to one of fear. The walls absorbed the pain and desperation of those trapped within, creating a legacy that would haunt the building for decades to come. The final chapter of its operational life was a slow, agonizing decline. By the late 20th century, a nationwide movement towards deinstitutionalization began. The idea was to move patients into community-based care, a more humane approach. But the transition was poorly managed. Funding for the asylum was slashed, the building fell into disrepair, and the remaining patients were left in limbo. One by one, wards were closed, wings were shuttered, and the once bustling campus grew eerily quiet. Finally, the last patient left, the heavy doors were locked for good, and the asylum was left to the mercy of time and nature. It stood empty, a silent monument to a troubled past. And that's when the new mysteries began. After its abandonment, local legends started to swirl. People spoke of strange lights seen in the windows of the locked wards at night. Others claimed to hear faint whispers or the sound of shuffling feet while walking the perimeter fence. Trespassers and urban explorers who dared to venture inside returned with unsettling stories. They described doors slamming shut on their own, objects moving without explanation, and a pervasive, bone-chilling cold that seemed to follow them from room to room. Were these just tricks of the mind in a creepy old building, or was something more profound at play? One of the most persistent legends is that of the Lady in White. The story varies, but it often centers on a nurse from the asylum's early days who dedicated her life to her patients. Some say she tragically lost her own mind within the very walls she served. Others believe she's a benevolent spirit, still watching over the souls left behind. Numerous explorers have claimed to see a fleeting, white figure gliding down the long, dark corridors, particularly in the old infirmary wing. We found an old staff ledger from the 1930s that lists a nurse who matches the description, but her file ends abruptly. There's no record of her leaving or transferring. She simply vanished from the records. Another chilling mystery is tied to the children's ward. Yes, tragically, even children were housed here, deep in the most dilapidated section of the asylum. Explorers have found a room filled with decaying toys and small, rusted bed frames. It is in this area that many have reported the distinct sound of a child's laughter, echoing through the silence, or the faint melody of a nursery rhyme being hummed. Some have even captured audio recordings, faint, ethereal sounds that are difficult to explain. Could it be the wind whistling through broken panes of glass? Or is it an echo of the innocent lives that were once confined to this sad, lonely place? Perhaps the most tangible and unnerving discovery is what we call the Room of 1,000 Scratches. In a small, isolated room in the basement with a single, heavily barred window. The walls are covered, floor to ceiling, in scratch marks. They are not random. They form patterns, tallies, and what look like desperate attempts to write words. Historians have no official record of what this room was used for, but its oppressive atmosphere is undeniable. Who was kept in this room? What were they counting? Each scratch mark is a silent testament to unimaginable suffering and a profound mystery that we may never solve. It's a chilling reminder that while the institution is gone, the human stories of despair are etched into its very structure. So, what do you think? Are these stories just the product of overactive imaginations fueled by a spooky environment? Or do the spirits of the past truly linger in this abandoned asylum? Could the intense emotions experienced here, the pain, the fear, the sorrow, have left a permanent psychic impression on the location? The line between history, legend, and the unexplained is often blurred in places like this. The asylum stands as a solemn reminder of a dark chapter in our history, urging us not to forget the lives that were touched and, in many cases, broken within its walls. The stories of this place serve as a powerful lesson. They compel us to reflect on how we treat the most vulnerable in our society and the importance of compassion and understanding when it comes to mental health. The abandoned asylum is more than just a ruin. It's a classroom, a memorial, and a source of enduring mystery. Thank you for joining me on this unsettling exploration into the shadows of the past. If these untold stories and lingering mysteries captivated you, please hit the like button and subscribe for more deep dives into forgotten places. Don't forget to ring the notification bell so you won't miss our next adventure. Until next time, stay curious.